Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bourbon Note. I'm Greg.
I'm Ben.
And today, we're drinking bourbon.
No, we're drinking Irish whiskey because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Irish whiskey. Well, that sounds interesting.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be. I haven't had it in a long time, so
Okay.
that's what the green lights are all about, except for that one that wouldn't change colors.
It doesn't cooperate, you know?
Yeah, it's not cooperating.
I could make a joke about a part of Ireland that doesn't cooperate either.
Ooh,
but
let's stay away from that.
We'll leave politics alone.
So, anyway, we have BAM for a little bonus video today since it is St. Patrick's Day.
That's right.
And it's Thursday, the day we release our videos.
Yes.
We've got the Sexton, not Sexton, the Sexton. Irish whiskey distilled in copper pots, single malt, and I believe this is a sherry cask finish, if I remember correctly.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, so cool bottle. It's got, and you'll see the pictures in our little bottle pans, but it's got a cool little skull skeleton guy with a top hat on it. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but, you know, let's try it.
So I've had this, but it's probably been 3 years.
I've had this too because it's my bottle, but honestly, I don't think this has probably been sitting here untouched for like a year and a half.
Okay.
I just don't go to Irish whiskey all that often. So this is a single malt. I was actually trying to learn a little bit about Irish whiskey yesterday. It's not quite as cut and dry as something like bourbon where it's like, okay, you've got these specific rules. There are some Irish whiskeys out there that are majority corn mash bill.
Right.
You know, so whereas this is a single malt, so this is going to be a malted barley.
Malted barley.
So I'd like to actually kind of explore some of those corn-based mash bill Irish whiskeys because I think those might have a little bit of a. I like the sweetness of the corn
Similarity.
and bourbon.
Yep.
You know, you're not getting the charred oak barrels.
Because they're using used cask, right?
Yep.
Typically.
And sometimes they use bourbon casks.
Correct.
So very, very single malty for sure.
Yeah, I always find Irish whiskey to be an interesting whiskey because it's got obviously the barley.
Yeah.
It doesn't typically have the peat, but it, you know, like a Scotch, you know, so it's different than a peaty Scotch.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it's
I'm sorry, I'm just looking for the sherry. I thought this said something about a sherry cask. Keep going though.
It's just an interesting like mix of flavors, and I really like it. And since then, we've recently had a couple of bourbons that are maybe more barley forward.
Yeah, we've
as
got
opposed
a couple.
to just a little bit of malted barley, like they're a little bit higher.
Yeah.
You know, barley, and so it brings an interesting flavor. So this will be like old times, you know, going back and trying something that I've not had in quite a while.
All right, shall we go in for it here?
Yeah.
So on the nose, I'm getting definitely
a lot
this.
of fruit.
Yeah,
Like
fruit
a lot of
forward.
Very fruity, floral.
Yeah.
Is this like from Dublin? Do we know?
Well, so this is what I was reading. Let's get into the
Okay.
tasting
Okay,
here, and then
yeah.
I'll blab about what I just read on there.
Okay.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Happy St. Patty's Day. This is an 80 proofer, so it's going to be quite mellow compared to what we're used to with some of the bourbons we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the palate, very fruit forward.
Very fruity. Nice mix of spice. It's very light, but it's nice and comfortable. And then some nice sweetness that kind of sticks around. The sweetness actually holds all the way through the finish.
I feel like the sweetness kind of comes through in like a vanilla on top of the fruit.
Almost like vanilla. I've not had that much to drink yet. Vanilla and blueberry. It's like a
Blueberry, I wouldn't have guessed that.
yeah. It's a real like a berry kind of note.
So I always get, and I've said this before in videos, if you know, like a single malt or anything with Scotch, I get kind of that like a light fruit, like a pear, apple, you know.
Well, maybe not citrus, but
Not citrusy, but like
Yeah.
that, you know, like that.
crisp.
Yeah. And so I'm getting that.
Yep.
I can see maybe a little bit of banana. Not much, but I'm kind of getting on the aftertaste a bit of banana. But then there's kind of that sweetness coming through is almost like whipped cream or some sort of vanilla.
Yeah.
So this being a single malt, I think that if you like Scotch, this might be an Irish whiskey you would like because it's very similar to Scotch because of
Yes.
malted barley. So here's what it says on the side.
Okay.
My eyes are getting bad.
It's contagious.
Follow that scent into the crypt, and you might find a locked door faintly glowing at its edges. I should have started this in like Vincent Price to
Vincent
read this
Price,
out.
yeah, Elvira.
Through that door, find the rows of beckoning European oak.
This just screams St. Patrick's Day.
Once the sacramental casks of fine sherry, now brimming with aqua vitae.
Which is whiskey. That word ultimately becomes whiskey after several hundred years.
What?
Aqua vitae becomes whiskey, ultimately. That's the old Gaelic version of what becomes whiskey.
Oh, okay. You see, to be a sexton is a spiritual trade, and whiskey is their favorite spirit.
Duh.
Boom. So, there you go. There's that.
There's that.
Little Irish lore on St. Patty's Day.
And people make fun of bourbons for having made up stories on the bottle.
Yeah, and bourbons do have made up stories
They
on
do
the
have
bottle,
made
for
up,
sure.
Yeah, but the Irish are strong in that game.
So I think we should do another bonus video or two with another, because like I said, so last night I was kind of reading up on different things about Irish whiskey, like I said, and learning that there's different mash bills,
Styles.
in different styles that I'm not sure I've really explored. I haven't had a ton of Irish whiskeys.
So I've had, is it Two Genders? It's kind of like their kind of mass-produced one.
That's made here, I think.
Time for our You Were Wrong song. You were wrong, you were mistaken. Faces aren't bones and heads are shaking. You tried your stupid best, you took a stupid guess. You were wrong, you were wrong, you were wrong.
So, quick correction. Two Gingers actually is a legit Irish whiskey. Confusion on that was it was actually created by an Irishman who is a pretty well-known restaurateur in Minneapolis, owns a few very, very well-known Irish pubs. And he actually created Two Gingers. And at the beginning, for the longest time, it was only available in Minnesota. So I knew it had a Minnesota tie to it. So I wasn't sure. I think my confusion was maybe thinking that it was made here in the style of Irish whiskey. But no, actually a legit Irish whiskey. So learn something new every day.
And then I've had this exact one. I think that may be all I've had.
Jameson is kind of the standard,
That's quite different though, I
Jim
think.
Beam of Irish whiskey. I think that one is a corn-based mash bill.
Is it?
If I remember correctly.
Huh.
So anyway, yeah, that'd be kind of fun to do like a little side bonus video. But we wanted to do a little extra kind of bonus video, seeing that it is St. Patty's Day. Might as well release 2 videos today.
Sure.
That
works.
So with the Irish one, this is pretty good.
I like it.
It's definitely a huge departure from what we're used to drinking in bourbon.
Totally agree.
So yeah, this is something to explore. Some different Irish mash bills, but this one is more on the Scotchy side in the sense that it's a malted barley. So if you like Scotch, you'll probably like this.
I don't know.
Really?
I get the feeling, and I don't know, maybe some people on the internet can correct me. I feel like the Scotch and the Irish are kind of, cousins / family members who maybe are like feuding. And, if you're a Scotch person, maybe you don't like Irish whiskey. And if you're an Irish person, you don't like Scotch. I don't know. Again, it goes maybe back more to the politics as opposed to just the whiskey, but who knows?
Let's say that there was, say Canada, not that we don't like Canada, but let's say Canada made a whiskey that was over 51% corn, aged in new charred oak barrels. Everything about it was exactly like a bourbon, but it was made in Canada, so it can't be called a bourbon. I'd probably like that whiskey, right? Because it's similar to what I like.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? So that's what I mean. It's like if you like Scotch, you'll probably like this because it's in the same, definitely the same lane.
Okay, sure.
A little bit of I've heard this tasting note on Irish whiskey before, and I'm getting it on this a little bit the more I've drank it. A little bit kind of like biscuits. Like biscuit. Are we going to?
Nope, I'm gonna do the timeout. You're gonna have to do a hard cut because I don't want this part in the video.
Okay.
Pour just a little bit more.
You know what, Greg? I feel like I might need a little bit more of this whiskey.
Yes, that is completely yeah, hard cut. Okay.
I am now going to pour it and sample it
You totally ruining the bit, but I'm gonna stick with it.
and see what interesting tasting notes I get from it.
Ben never has a second glass at home.
That's a good movie reference right there. So, what I've heard from tasting notes that I've heard of
Sure.
being associated with Irish whiskey is kind of like a biscuity cookie. So that's kind of confusing too, because like cookies and biscuits are the same thing over there, whereas biscuits are different over here. But kind of like a buttery biscuit.
I'm getting maybe a tad bit of like the almond kind of shortbread note.
Yeah, shortbread would be a good.
Yeah, I think definitely I'm getting that. Nice, pleasant flavor. I really like this.
Me too.
It is a bit of a departure, but
Is there anything else you'd like to add
No,
to the tasting note that I brought forward in that last pour?
no, that's okay.
Are you sure?
I don't, you're obviously fishing for a reference that I don't think I know.
I just want to know if you
Oh.
need to comment further on it or anything. Yeah, that's not bad. Good little Irish pour for St. Paddy's Day. So, all right. Well, I think the official Irish toast is sláinte, right?
Sláinte.
Sláinte. Happy St. Paddy's Day. This has been the Sexton Irish single malt whiskey on the bourbon note. I'm Ben.
I'm Greg. Sláinte.
Sláinte.